Hello everybody, welcome to the next, I hate using the word project because that can mean many things to many people. I just finished up the Inside Pitch Washington Nationals replay and did that recap show showing the statistics and how the game fared out and everything. That was a lot of fun, but my first love is Strat-O-Matic, and that's the game I'm not sure what else to do. That's the game I tend to go back to. I did buy the new payoff pitch game, and I may delve into that at some point, but got the itch for Strat-O-Matic, so I got to scratch it. I have done in Strat-O-Matic, I've done the 1977 White Sox season replay, and most recently I did the 1982 Game of the Week, playing a different team Game of the Week and letting the computer sim everything else and whatnot. And most of my replay experience has been as played, trying to recreate a season or starting pitchers' results like I did with Mark Fidrich or something along those lines. But I really like, not fictional, but just where I have more control over the choices I want to make. And I really got inspired a couple of years ago, actually, to try this, but never really took on. I never really got into it because I was doing other things. But my time away for the last week or two, I've been mulling over and ruminating what I wanted to do, and this is what keeps coming back in my mind. So that's what I'm gonna do anyway. Tenacious Earl is the one that inspired me. I really think his Tenacious League he came up with a couple of years ago for the 2015 season, where he picked the 10 random teams and played the game, and he made his own lineups. He used injuries, he used the rest roll, things like that. Really put him in the chair of managing all the teams. It is a big undertaking because when you're talking about 10 teams playing, that's a third of the schedule, or a third of the total teams in the league, and you're taking a third of the teams in the league and playing a third of a schedule length, which means you're playing a 54 game schedule for each team. Each team has 9 opponents. You play them 6 times, 3 at home, 3 on the road, and ergo you get your 54 games. I'm starting this on December the 6th, 2021. Who the heck knows when I'm going to finish? Like I said, probably 90-something% of this is going to be offline. I may, depending on if people like it, I may do like a game of the week kind of thing and pick one game to put a video on. But the way to get this thing plowed through really is to play it offline, because I can play a whole lot faster that way without having to worry about setting up other things. I can just kind of do my own thing and just get the ball rolling, so to speak. And so what I've decided to do is revisit the 2015 season with a Tenacious type league. I'm using the setup that Earl did, Tenacious Earl. I'm going to use his setup, of picking the 10 random teams, although the teams I picked are not random. I am using the 2015 season, which I do have the extra players, and I do have it on the computer, so it'll be easy to compilate the stats. And if I'm missing a player and I want to add a player from the minors, I can always print them out from the PC game. Earl did a great job with the 2015 replay. His very first set of videos on YouTube, I believe, were the 2015 Tenacious League. And for being a first timer, I mean, he was like a pro right off the bat, at least to me he was anyway. And I really enjoyed that. I actually enjoyed it more than his 2008 Phillies replay because, like I said, I enjoyed the randomness of what was, how he was working it. And I just thought it was very intuitive and creative. So what I decided to do was take 10 teams from 2015, not the same 10. In fact, I went out of my way to make sure that none of the 10 I picked were the 10 in Earl's league. So you won't see any of those teams. So it means I had 20 other teams to choose from, and I tried to take a couple teams from each division so that each division was represented. When Earl did his, he did it completely random, and what happened was it took 4 of the 5 AL Central teams, but none of the National League East teams. So I kind of wanted a broad horizon or a broad spectrum. So I'm taking a couple of teams from each division, 5 from the American League, 5 from the National League. The American League Central is pretty easy. Cleveland, that's the only team that was not in Earl's league, so Cleveland is in this league. I'll go ahead and show the 10 teams. I've already done a lot of the legwork on this ahead of time, which I think for me, at least personally, I don't know about anybody else, but if you're going to complete a project, if I put a lot of legwork and work into the pregame before I even play my first game, that motivates me to keep going because I don't want to do all this work in vain. As opposed to if I just started playing this right off the bat and had no background to it, it probably wouldn't last. So with getting all that stuff out of the way, let's go ahead and meet the teams. And I also want to thank the Replay Gamer. If you haven't checked out his YouTube channel, check him out, the Replay Gamer. He did a quick tutorial on how to print envelopes, team logos and stuff on the envelopes, and I used that for this replay, so I do appreciate him showing me how to do that. It was actually pretty easy once he showed it. I just didn't know the setup for it, but once I got it, it was pretty straightforward. So let's look at the 10 teams that are going to be in this league. And what I'm doing also is a little bit different than what Earl did. In 2015, he used the DH universally. In his 2016 TBL 2.0, he had pitchers hit universally. But what I'm going to do is do what they do in actual baseball. American League teams at home, we have a DH. National League teams at home, the pitchers hit. That's kind of what I'm going to use there. So without further ado, let's meet the teams. And these are in no particular order. I guess they're kind of in order by divisions and so forth. So I have 2 from the American League West. I have 1 from the American League Central and 2 from the American League East to give me the 5 American League teams that will be in the league. So we'll start out, of course, the Cleveland Indians. And my printer screwed this one up. I forgot to clean the heads on the printer, so when I changed cartridges, some of this kind of bled out. But anyway, the Cleveland Indians, 81-80, managed by Terry Francona, is going to be one of the teams in the league. And the reason why they're in there is because, like I said, when Earl did his 2015 season, or not season, but his Tenacious, he used all the other 4 teams. That's just the way the random draw worked. So the only way to pick something different was to go with the one team that wasn't there. In fact, Cleveland was not in his TBL 2.0 either. So this will be the first time with Cleveland. So we're using them. 2 teams from the American League West. It's going to be the Seattle Mariners, managed by Lloyd McClendon. And get the Boo Birds out. It is the Houston Astros, managed by A.J. Hinch. In the American League East, we have 2 teams. We have the Tampa Bay Rays, managed by Kevin Cash. And we have the Boston Red Sox, managed by John Farrell. Those are the 5 American League teams that will be in this league. And they're all different from what the 2015, what Tenacious Earl did. I want to get that mixed up all the time. I don't know why. I guess because I'm so used to seeing them linked together. Because they were channeled together there for a while. But those are the 5 American League teams that are going to be in there, in the league. And now we're going to have 5 National League teams. And again, I had to pick teams that were different from what was in Earl's league. I didn't have to, but I thought it'd be better to do it that way. All right, we have 1 team from the National League Central, and that is the Cincinnati Reds, managed by Brian Price. And as you can see, they had one of the worst records in what may end up being one of the worst records in the league, that in this little league here, I don't know, but the Cincinnati Reds are the first. 2 teams from the National League West. We have the Arizona Diamondbacks, managed by Chip Hale, and we have the San Francisco Giants, managed by Bruce Bochy. And then finally, the National League East, we have 2 teams from the National League East. We have the 2015 Phillies, managed by 2 managers, Ryan Sandberg and Pete Mackinnon. or McCannon, I'm not sure how it's pronounced, but both guys managed the team that year. And finally, last but not least, it is the team that won the 2015 World Series. I'm sorry, they didn't win it, they were in it. The New York Mets, managed by Terry Collins. Of course, they lost to the Royals, but they were the National League representatives. So those are the 10 teams that are going to be in the league. And I'll show some other things I've done some background on, and then we'll get to our first game. I'll show the schedule and all that good stuff. But right now, let's move these things out of the way. What I wanted to show next were the rosters, and these are the 25-man rosters. So if anybody's really, really interested, you can pause the video and check them out. But those are the 25-man rosters for each team, 14 position players, 11 pitchers. And I made sure that each team has 2 left-handed relievers in their bullpen. I wanted each team to have at least 2 left-handed relievers in their bullpen. The Reds actually have 3 in their bullpen because their closer, Chapman's a lefty as well. But everybody else has at least 2. So that is the roster and the schedule. And again, I followed and I'm actually calling this the Demolition League. I didn't want to call it a Tenacious League because that's Earl's thing. He doesn't copyright it, but I mean, it's his thing, so I don't want to step on his toes too much. I'm probably already stepping on his toes by doing this, but hopefully not too severely. But this is the schedule we're going to use, and I use the, if you watched one of Earl's videos, he did a tutorial on how to schedule where he used, I believe it was a hexagon, and just go back and watch it and you can tell that's what I used. And so if you look at week 1 or series 1, each of these are a 3-game series. So the first, if we look at it, the first 9, 3-game series, that's 27 games, that's half the season. Each team plays the other team 3 times, either away or at home. And then all we simply do after that is take this, copy it down to here, but flip the home and away teams so that everybody plays everybody home and away. So there you can see the schedule that's going to be there. And as a traditionalist, to me, the first game should always be in Cincinnati. So tonight's game is going to be the Boston Red Sox against the Cincinnati Reds. And that'll be coming up in just a second. But I did want to show that. And the other thing I have, I think this was inspired by ID Jester. I'm not 100% sure. But rather than have to go to my score sheet and constantly have to write in the player ratings, I thought it was easier, since I'm going to be using the same 10 teams all the time, to go ahead and make defensive charts for each team, which is what I did here, so that from now on, when I play this game, when I need to know Cincinnati or Boston's defensive, they're all right here. All I do is look at the sheet instead of having to write it on the score sheet. Now, out of habit, I've already filled the score sheet out, and out of habit, I put the defensive ratings in there. When I did it, I was like, why did I do that? Because I've got these already. But anyway, it just kind of tells you who's on the roster. And it also, by doing this, it gives me a sense of, okay, do I have enough backups for every position? I like to have at least 2 players for every position, possibly 3 at each position. But some teams, like at shortstop for the Mets, they only have 2 on the active roster. And the Red Sox only have 2 second basemen and 2 shortstop on the active roster. So if somebody gets hurt, that tells me I've got to make a move off the bench, off the minors, and bring up somebody to fill in the gap there, so to speak. Like I said, I think it was ID Jester that suggested that one time. I'm not 100% sure. Don't quote me on it because I don't know for 100% sure, but that's what I think was how I came up with that. So, and the other thing I forgot to mention too as well, Earl in his first season did advanced only, and in his TBL 2.0 he did super advanced. As you know, if you've watched any of my videos lately, not only the White Sox replay, but also the 82 Strat-O-Matic game of the week, I did super advanced. I really love super advanced. But in this one, I'm taking one step back, and I'm going to do advanced only. No hybrid of any kind, just straight up advanced. It's in the rule book under advanced. That's what I'm going by. I'm not going to change anything. I'm not going to do ballparks. If a ground ball goes to second and runner's at second, he has to hold if the dice say he has to hold. I'm not going to let him go to third base like you would in real baseball. because to quote something Earl said a long time ago in one of his replays, this is Strat-O-Matic, this is not baseball, this is Strat-O-Matic. So we're following the rules of Strat-O-Matic. And so I really want to, after doing so much of the super advanced, I think the advanced will go a little quicker for me, because that's going to be less D20 rolls and less looking up on charts and so forth. So I think it'll be a little bit quicker to get these games in. But anyway, that's just where I'm going with that. So we are just about ready to get going. I do have the advanced chart here and the advanced defensive chart. So that's what I'll be using. And of course, today's game is coming from Great American Ballpark in Cincinnati. And to use another, I'm going to try something different. And I got this idea from Sportsman Z. He just had a video recently comparing Strat-O-Matic to payoff pitch. And he talked about not necessarily needing to see the score sheet, but wanting to have the score and the out situation and runner on base situation for people to see. So I've got this little program that I'm using here, and that'll be the score of the game. It's going to tell me the outs and the score and the inning. And then I've got the little tokens that will tell us where the base runners are at any given time. So the other thing I'm going to do, I'm not using the dice tower, because one of the things I liked when I was watching some of those old videos from Earl was I liked the sound of this. I liked the way the dice move around in the hand, because when he was doing his TBL1, he didn't have the dice tower. He was rolling it by hand, and I kind of like that sound. So that's what I'm going to be going with. So let me pause the video, get everything set up for game 1 of 256. But game 1 on the video, like I said, I don't know how many videos I'm going to do. Depends on my time and how much I can do. I'd like to do at least one game a week, but we'll see. What I may do is try to do a video of all 5 games on opening day. Of course, piecemealing this out over about a week's time, because it's going to take me that long to do all the videos. But or if I don't do that, I at least want to show every team at least once pretty early, so you can see all the teams. All right, so I'm going to pause the video and we'll get going. This is Advanced Strat-O-Matic, and it is what I deemed, I guess, the Demolition League. I didn't know the name to call it. I was trying to think of something with a demo, something with the acronym or a prefix of demo, and demolition was the only thing I could think of, so maybe it's going to be a wreck. Who knows? But we're going to try it. I want to have fun. Hopefully you guys enjoy watching people play Strat on YouTube. We'll have fun as well, even if you don't really necessarily follow along with the league itself and how they're doing. Hopefully you will have enjoyment just watching the games being played. I know a lot of times when I'm doing things, whether it's working in the yard, going for a walk or whatever, I like to have, call me weird, but I like to have a game of Strat-O-Matic of somebody on YouTube in the back, playing in the background. Not myself, because I don't want to listen to myself, but other people. All right. I'm going to pause the video, get everything set up, and we will be ready to go in just a second. Okay, we are just about ready to go. I do have a score sheet, and again, I followed Earl's format when he would score off notebook paper, because I really don't want to print off all those score sheets. One thing I do have a lot of around the house is notebook paper, so that's what I'm going with. This is going to be off camera. I'm not going to show this on camera except maybe once every couple of innings. But I normally would have the score sheet in view when I'm playing, but since I have this thing here and the guys on the bases, this will be off to the side. But I am using the format that Earl used, where you score you at bat by at bat versus inning by inning. And as you can see, I wrote the ratings in, didn't mean to. But anyway, let's look at the starting lineup. Mookie Betts will be in center for Boston. Pedroia at second, Bogarts at short, Ortiz the first baseman, because there's no DH in the National League Park. Hanley Ramirez in left, the Panda, Pablo Sandoval's at third, Jackie Bradley's in right, Sandy Leone catching, the right-hander Rick Porcello on the mound. For the Reds, it will be leading off Brandon Phillips at second, Joey Votto at first, Frazier at third, Bruce in right, Marlon Byrd in left, Mesoraco catching, Cozart short, Johnny Cueto will pitch and bat eighth, and then Hamilton, the speedster, will bat ninth and play center field. So I'm kind of tuning in my inner Joe Madden on that one. So we'll get ready to go. Like I said, I have the dice here, Now let's figure out where I can put the cards where you can see them, and then also where I have the dice where you can see them. This is a work in progress, so I'm going to try it out. Johnny Cueto, in the 2015 season, he was traded to the Royals late in the season. So Earl was using him with the Royals because that's the way he didn't have the extra players at the time. I may not realize that Johnny Cueto was in Cincinnati early. He had the Royals. He was not using the Reds. So he did use Johnny Cueto, his card with the Royals. I'm using him, of course, with the Reds. And he will get, since it's 1/3 of a season, he had 19 starts. I'm going to start him 6 times. And then he will be shipped away to Kansas City, and the Reds will have to make do with other players. So Johnny Cueto, 7-6, 2.62 ERA, is on the mound. And leading things off for the Red Sox will be center fielder Mookie Betts. Center fielder Mookie Betts here at Great American Ballpark. Let me give a quick look here and see if everything looks like it fits. Let's move this down just a hair. Like I said, this is the first time I'm trying this, so I have no idea how it's going to look on video. I'm going to try to roll the dice in here as much as I can. Of course, I got to make sure the cards don't get in the way of the base runners. So I may have to split this down. Let me move this up a little bit. I think I had it wrong the first time. Okay, so we'll put this down here so if somebody gets on third, I can put the little token there, and that way the base paths are not blocked. All right, so I think everything fits in there now. Hopefully, we can get going here. And again, this is advanced. I've got the rule book with me. I got to make sure I don't try to sneak in super advanced stuff because I'm so used to using that. But we're going to do advanced, and there's our dice. I'm not going to do the dice tray, or I might have to. I don't know if I'm going to try rolling on here. If it seems like the dice are going all over the place, I may have to put the dice tray right here just so I have something convenient to use. The other thing I can do is I can use this other little dice thing I have, similar to something that Anthony at Bleacher Bum Gaming has or uses from time to time, and that's a it's not a dice tray per se. It's more of a felt thing, but it's something that I can roll the dice in and but I don't know how well it's going to show up on camera. I might not be able to fit that. So I think I'm going to try it just on the table there and see how it goes. Or maybe I can do it this way. I don't know. It's like I said, it's a work in progress. This is brand new, so this setup is a lot different for me. Like I said, I'm normally used to just putting my stuff here and rolling on here, but I think I'm just going to roll it on here and hope for the best, so to speak. Let's see, is there anything I can do differently? No, I think I'm going to have to just try to be careful how I roll the dice. Now, by doing advanced, I don't have to roll the D20 every roll, so some of these rolls are just going to involve the 3 D6s, which hopefully will make it nicer. So we're ready to go. Johnny Cueto facing Mookie Betts, game 1 of 256. And game 1 of a 3-game series from Great American Ballpark. And the Demolition League is now underway. 3-3 for Mookie Betts, and that's a foul out to the catcher. So he fouls out to Devin Mesoraco. So Mookie Betts is retired, 1 away. And hopefully that everything was visible on the board there. And then you can see I updated to 1 out. We are in the top of the first, no score. Okay, Dustin Pedroia, second baseman, is up. I'll move him up here until somebody gets on third base. I'll leave it up here until somebody gets on third base so it's easier to see. Dustin Pedroia, that is a 6-8. Cueto, 6-8. It's a fly ball to center. Hauled in by Billy Hamilton, 2 down. So 2 up and 2 down by Cueto. He's off to a good start. That brings up shortstop Xander Bogaerts for the Sox. 5-9. Bogaerts is a righty. 5-9. That's a 1-11 home run. 12-20 is a double, but Bogaerts does have weak power. So he cannot hit a home run here, but he can hit a single on a 1-11 or a double on a 12-20. That's a 3, so it is going to be a single. So we'll put a token there for Xander Bogaerts. And we'll see about stealing. This is the advanced stealing, so we don't have to worry about getting a jump. It's just a matter of whether it wants to go or not. Now let's look at the advanced rules and remind myself that so I can do it correctly. Like I said, so used to playing super advanced, but toning it down to advanced. And on the advanced rules for stealing, we use the hold rating, and depending on the rating of the stealer, you subtract the number based on that. So Bogaerts is a B base stealer, which means he's going to lose 3 for being held. And then you have the catcher arm. Mesoraco is a 0 arm, so it is going to be just a -3 there. The B stealer is a 1 to 13, so the -3 makes it a 1 to 10. 1 to 10. 1 to 10 will be a steal for Bogaerts. Does he try it? Why not? First game of the season, why not? 1 to 10. And it's in there with a 1, and a 1 means it's a possible throwing error on Mesoraco. His T rating is a T4. T4 for Mesoraco. And that's coming from here, right here. Mesoraco is a T4. So we'll roll the D20 and see if we get a 1 to 4 or not. And if we get a 1 to 4, it's a throwing error, and Bogaerts will take third base. It's an 11, so he does not. He just gets second base. There is no throwing error, but it is a stolen base for Bogaerts. So Bogaerts with a single, and then he steals second base. And that will bring up Big Papi, Dave Ortiz. Having to play first base since there's no DH. He has a 5 E24. So again, no D20 needed because we don't need those pre-rolls to check for balks and pass balls like we do in Super Advanced. Could think about walking Ortiz with first base open. They do have Hanley Ramirez next, but I think Cueto wants to challenge Ortiz. 3-6, 1 to 7 is a single, 1 star. 8 to 20, he lines to first. That's a 1, so it's a single 1 star. So Ortiz gets the base hit, but unable to score is Bogaerts. So runners are at the corners with 2 down, and that brings up Hanley Ramirez. I think I'll put the card up here. I think that fits in okay, like that. I think I'll do them this way instead of down here. That way it really frees up the base running. So runners at the corners, 2 down, no score in top of the first. Ramirez against Cueto. And of course, Big Papi is not being held. We get a 5-10. Ramirez is a right-hander. 5-10 is a catcher X. Now in advanced, you get a lot of those pass ball pop-out deals, so that could produce a run if that's the case. It's a catcher X, and Mesoraco is a 3. So we go to our advanced fielding chart with a number 3 catcher. The roll is a 3 and a 3. And he catches a break. It's just a straight up foul out, so no pass ball, and that's going to end the inning. So just a foul out to Mesoraco to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Red Sox. They come away empty-handed, and Cincinnati Reds will be coming to bat against Rick Porcello, who was 9-15 with a 4.92 ERA. In 28 starts for the Red Sox, so he's going to get about 9 starts in this league because we're cutting everything by a third because that's the length of the season. So Brandon Phillips will lead things off for the Reds against Mr. Porcello. Bottom of the first is underway, no score. 3-12 for Brandon Phillips. That's a Lomax. He lines it right to Pablo Sandoval, the Panda. Makes the catch, and there's 1 away here in the bottom of the first. It's going to bring up Joey Votto, the first baseman. Porcello to Votto. 4-6. Lefty against Porcello's a ground ball second base X. That's Pedroia. And Pedroia, if we look at the defensive chart for Pedroia and Boston, Pedroia is a 2E11. So he's a 2. 2 and a 20, that's a good play on the advanced chart. Good play, don't have to worry about checking for an error or anything. That's just an easy ground out. Out number 2, Joey Votto is retired. And that brings up the Todd father, Todd Frazier, third baseman against Porcello. 5-3, and that's a fly ball to right field, hauled in by Jackie Bradley to end the inning. Nothing doing. And as you can see now, we're now in the top of the second, no score between the Reds and the Red Sox here at Great American Ballpark. I didn't look it up, but I don't believe they played each other in interleague play in 2015. They may have. I didn't look, to be honest with you. The matchup, when I did the hexagon, these are the two teams that matched up and for the first game, and Cincinnati being traditional home opener or opener of the season, I thought that this is what I did. All right, so here is the Panda, Pablo Sandoval against Cueto. We get a 210, and that is a single. So the Panda gets a leadoff single. He will not be held. As you might imagine, he is not much of a base runner. So he is not going to have to worry about being held. Jackie Bradley will be stepping to the plate. Jackie Bradley Jr. He's up there against Cueto. We get a 2-7, and Jackie Bradley comes through 1-6 for a triple. 7-20 is a double. I think you're going to need the triple to score Sandoval. Let's see. 1-6 is a triple. We get a 20, so it's a double. They're going to hold Sandoval at third base. He does not run well with nobody out. Why take the chance? So second and third, nobody out, and that brings up the catcher, Sandy Leone, number 8 hitter. Of course, you do have the pitcher on deck, Porcello, who's using pitcher hitting card number 1. So chance for Cueto maybe to get out of this by getting through the bottom of the order. The infield for the Reds is coming in. They're going to play in. We get a 2-9. That's a ground ball, second base C. But let's look at the chart. Look at this chart. Second base C with the infield in. So infield in, ground ball C, batter result is out, run on third holds. So everybody had to hold on the ground ball C with the infield in. Had they not been in, that would have scored the run, but that's an out. First out of the inning. And that's going to bring up the pitcher. Off pitcher hitting card number 1, Rick Porcello. He's a C bunter, not going to try to squeeze or anything. I think they're just going to let him swing and see what happens. The infield is in. 1-9, and that's a strikeout. It's a bad break there. He was hoping to get something off Cueto's card. But he does strike out for out number 2, but it is a chance now for Mookie Betts to drive home the run. Infield back to normal. Cueto to Betts, 1-5, and it's a fly to left to end the inning. So how about that? Cueto pitches around all that mess. And we go to the bottom of the second, still no score. And if you guys, I don't mind criticism at all. If you don't like something I'm doing, let me know and I'll see about fixing something. But if you prefer this, where you can see the score and everything as opposed to seeing the score sheet, let me know that. If you'd rather me do it the way I've been doing it for who knows how long, where I just have the score sheet out and don't worry about moving the tokens and all that stuff, let me know that too. And I'll try to do what is preferable to the viewers. All right, when I play offline, I'll do it the way I want, but when I'm doing video, I want to, as best I can, do what people prefer, because they're the ones who are taking the time to watch. Bottom of the second, no score. Jay Bruce, right fielder. Got a 4-10. Lefty, Bruce, 4-10 is a walk. So a leadoff walk to Jay Bruce from Porcello. Jay Bruce is aboard. He's a C stealer, so he will be held. I hold everybody C and above, no matter who the catcher is. Earl had a thing where he did I think he did a roll based on the catcher's arm rating, whether you held him tight, loose, or whatever. But I'm doing a generic. If they're C or above, I hold them. D or E, I do not. So Jay Bruce will be held. As a C stealer, he starts out as an 11, but then being held, it makes it really hard for him to steal. So he will stand pat, and Marlon Byrd, the batter. Byrd in left field for this one. 1-5, and he struck him out. So Porcello gets a big strikeout there. Out number 1, and Marlon Byrd, he is retired. And of course, I'm still trying to get used to this setup, so I'm going a little bit slower than I would normally do, but trying to make it work as best I can. Work in progress, and this is ever changing, so who knows what the next video will hold. Here's Devin Mesoraco. He only had 45 at-bats. He gets hurt early in the season, but I did want to get him a few at-bats here. He'll get about 15 at-bats, and then I'll close him down. Of course, he could always find an injury on his card and you know, leave earlier than that. Of course, but ironically, I don't see any injuries on his card, so I'm assuming, oh, I see one at the 7 spot. So there's this, in the 2-7 spot, there's injury possibilities. 5-3, though, is a fly ball to right, and that's out number 2 as Jackie Bradley puts it away. Or Jackie Bradley Jr., if you will. And I'll bring up the shortstop, Zach Cozart, number 7 hitter. Johnny Cueto, the 8th hitter, is on deck. Remember, they are doing the pitcher bat 8th thing in this one. Zach Cozart, the shortstop, against Porcello. 4-6, that's a ground ball, second base X. The runner is being held. Let's see, second base X, second baseman for Boston is Pedroia. He is a 2. 2 and a 19 is good, so no worries there. Easy play made by Pedroia to end the inning. And at the end of 2, we go to the 3rd, no score here at Great American Ballpark. And Pedroia, who just made that play, nice play, will lead off. That happens quite a bit in real baseball. The guy makes a great defensive play, or at least an above average defensive play, tends to lead off the next inning. So that's what's happening here with Dustin Pedroia. He will lead off against Cueto to start the 3rd. Pedroia flew to center his first chance. 6-6, and that is a pop out to short. Hauled in over there by the shortstop, Zach Cozart. And there's one away here in the top of the 3rd. That'll bring up Xander Bogaerts, speaking of shortstops. Bogaerts singled, stole second, but was stranded at 3rd his first time up. We get a 3-7. And Bogaerts on a 3-7, a 1-16 is a single. Anything else higher, 17-20, lines to 3rd. That is a 10. That is a 10, so it will be a single for Xander Bogaerts. Now the question is, do you take a chance and have him steal again? Let's see how many stolen bases he had on the season. He had 10, got caught twice. So I'm not going to steal him this time with Ortiz. They may very well walk Ortiz intentionally if I try to steal, so he will be held on, but he will not be walked intentionally, or will not try to steal, I should say. Here's Cueto to Ortiz. Oh, a 6-12, and that is a fly ball center field. 6-12 is usually bad for the pitcher on an injury check, but that's when he's facing the DH. Ortiz is the first baseman in this game, so there's no injury to check. It's just a fly ball center field C. Shallow fly for out number 2, so no worries of an injury there for Cueto. And that brings up Hanley Ramirez. Ramirez stepping to the plate. 3-5 for Ramirez. That's a ground ball to short, and that's going to end the inning. And the Red Sox go pretty quietly after the one-out single by Bogaerts. We go to the bottom of the 3rd, and no score from Great American Park. And leading things off will be the pitcher, Johnny Cueto. Cueto was a 162 hitter, so not very good. Probably a little bit, I can think 150 is about average, so he's pretty much an average hitter for a pitcher. Cueto will lead it off. 2-7, and that's going to be a fly to left. One away. So Cueto is retired. And that brings up the slick Billy Hamilton. He will be batting the number 9 position. I was going to lead him off, but I decided to bat him 9th. Probably have a lot of games where he will lead off, so it just depends. That's the beauty of this kind of thing, is the liberty to set the lineups the way I want, whatever intuition I might have, rather than being bound by the as-played lineups. It's a little bit of freedom in that. 110, and again, I'm so used to ballpark effects, I immediately said it's a ballpark single check, but not in advanced. It's just a pop out to short. Out number 2. Like I said, I'm not doing a hybrid. This is strict advanced all the way. So Billy Hamilton pops to short, and probably Great American Ballpark. I didn't check it, but I think the Great American Ballpark is a hitter-friendly park. That might have been a base hit there, but not to be. Here's Brandon Phillips. Phillips a 3-11, and that's a ground ball to third, and that's going to end the inning. Reds go quietly here in the bottom of the third. We go to the fourth. No score. Both pitchers on their game. Cueto has a fatigue of 7 and Porcello fatigue of 6, so they're both pretty good on trying to get some innings in. Top of the fourth, and here's the Pablo Sandoval, the Panda. He did single, was stranded at third on a double, and never made it home. 4-6 for Cueto against the switch hitting Sandoval hitting left. That's a strikeout. So the Panda goes down swinging to start the fourth, one away. Brings up Jackie Bradley Jr. He had that double his first time up, but did not result in any runs. 3-8. 3-8 is a strikeout. So Jackie Bradley will take a seat. He'll grab some bench, as somebody once said a while back. Brings up the catcher, Sandy Leone. 1-7 for Leone, and he's going to fly to center. It's a 1-2-3 inning for Cueto. We go to the bottom of the fourth. Still no score from Great American Ballpark. Porcello back out. He will be facing Joey Votto, the Todd father, Todd Frazier, and Jay Bruce, heart of the order for the Reds. Haven't had to use the tokens too much because the pitchers have been in charge. 6-6 lefty. 6-6, that would be a ballpark home run check. But again, and just advanced, it's just a mere fly to right. And probably at Great American Ballpark, that probably would have been a home run, but not in advanced. All right, here's the Todd father, Todd Frazier. He flew to right his first time up. 3-2, that's a ground ball to second. Pedroia right there, Johnny on the spot, out number 2. 2 up and 2 down here in the fourth, bottom of the fourth, and that brings up Jay Bruce. Walked his first chance. 2-7, that's a split chance. 1-6 is a single. Anything else, Pedroia will snag it on a 7 or higher. That's a 3, so it's a base hit. 2-out single for Jay Bruce. He has reached twice. He will be held as a C stealer. Stole 9 bases, caught 5 times, so Leone with a -3 arm, they're not going to risk it. He will have to just hold there, hunker down, and hope Marlon Byrd can drive him in. 1-8 for Byrd. He's going to strike him out, and that's going to end the inning. So that didn't happen, obviously. We go to the fifth. No score from Great American Ballpark. Both pitchers on their game. It's going to bring up Rick Porcello. He will lead off the top of the sixth. 1-8. He's going to strike out like he did the first time. So, unfortunately for Porcello, he got rolls on his own card instead of trying to get something off of Cueto's card. So he's gone, and that brings up Mookie Betts. Betts foul to the catcher, Mesoraco, and then flew to left out to Bird. It's 0 for 2. 4-6 for Betts. Struck him out. He's not. There's a dot there, but he's not tired. So Cueto gets the K. We're out number 2. And that sends us to Dustin Pedroia. Pedroia flew to center and popped to short, 0 for 2. 2-5 for Pedroia. That's a 1-19 single, so most likely going to be a single right here, a 2-out single, unless we get a 20. Yep, it's a 2-out single for Pedroia. He's a D stealer, so he will not be held. But would he try it? That's the question. Mesoraco is a 0 arm. He's a D stealer, which means he starts with a 9. And then in the advanced, as a D stealer, you then subtract 4. So that'd be only a 1-5. So not a good chance. So actually, no, he wouldn't, because he's not being held. You don't do that. My bad. It would be a straight out 1-9 because he's not being held. So since it's a 1-9, they're going to try it. Since he's not being held, they're going to see if they can't get him over to second base. Then he gets thrown out trying to steal with a 10. Oh well, tried it. Didn't work. But what are you going to do? He's out of there. As even without being held, couldn't get a good enough jump, and Mesoraco sent a BB down there. And now we go to the bottom of the 5th, still no score, and of course Mesoraco will lead it off as making that nice throw. Now he's going to come up and lead off the inning. 0 for 1, flew to right his first chance. 5-8, and that's a strikeout for Porcello. There's a dot, but again, not tired. So Mesoraco is retired. 1 down for Zach Cozart. He grounded to Pedroia his first time up. 0 for 1. 2-6, and that's a 1 for a double. Anything else, he will fly out to Ramirez in left. And he flies to Ramirez in left for out number 2. 2 up and 2 down. Brings up the pitcher, Johnny Cueto, in the number 8 position. Cueto flew to left his first chance. 4-10. 4-10, Porcello against a right-hander. Would again be a ballpark single check if we were doing super advanced, but instead, just a fly to center. And it's going to end the inning. And we go to the top of the 6th here in Cincinnati. No score between the Red Sox and the Reds. Game 1 of the Demolition League, 10-team league, patterned after Tenacious Earl's Tenacious League. Game 1 of 256. Xander Bogaerts, he's singled twice and a stolen base, so he's figured Cueto out at least a little bit. 4-12, and Cueto against a right-hander. 4-12 is a ground ball first base X. First baseman is Votto. He's a 2E9. So as a 2 and a 10, that probably goes to his error check. Let's take a look here on the advanced fielding chart. A 2 and a, yep, for first baseman, anything 7 to 15 goes to his error chart. Roll the dice for that. He is an E9. E9 and an 11. E9 and an 11 is a ground ball A, so it's good play. But since it went to the defensive chart, even though it says A, I'm going to call it a 3-1 grounder. I'm going to say since it went to the X chart, it goes pitcher to first base covering for out number 1. So Bogaerts is retired. Brings up Ortiz. Big Poppy, he is 1 for 2, a single and a fly to center. 4-9 against the lefty. That's a walk. So Ortiz will draw the walk. Of course, he will not be held. But he is a base runner. 1 out base runner. And that's going to send up Hanley Ramirez, the left fielder, against Cueto. 4-7, and that's a strikeout. There's a dot, but again, we have not got to the 7th inning yet, so he's not tired. That is a strikeout for out number 2. And that will take it to the Panda, Pablo Sandoval. Last chance for the Red Sox to do something this inning and break the scoreless tie. 3-9. 3-9 is a foul out to Mesoraco, and that's going to end the inning. So a walk, but nothing else happens. And we go to the bottom of the 6th. Still no score from Great American Ballpark. A good hitter's park, but in advance, we're not using ballpark effects, which I'm sure has cost a couple of runs so far. But that was the decision that I had made, to play advanced only with no hybrids. Here's Billy Hamilton. In that number 9 position, he comes up as a leadoff hitter this inning, so maybe he can get something going for the Reds. 5-7, switch hitter batting left. 5-7, struck him out. Again, Porcello, this is his weakness inning, but he hasn't reached it yet, so there's no fatigue there. That strikeout is good. And Hamilton will take a seat. Here's Brandon Phillips. 6-2, and that is a fly ball to right. Hauled in out there by Jackie Bradley. 2 up and 2 down here in the 6th inning. He might hit the 7th inning stretch with no score. If we don't get something going here shortly, here's Joey Votto. 5-8 against a lefty. That's a 1-14 single. 15-20, he lines to Pedroia. That's a 14, so Pedroia can't quite get it. It's going to hit off his glove, And Joey Votto, a 2-out single. Votto is a B stealer. Stole 11 bases, caught 3 times, but Leone is a -3 arm. So you got the -3 arm, plus the fact of being held, makes it another -3. So the B stealer becomes from a 13 down to a 7. Not very good odds, so they will hold Votto there with 1 out. They will not try it. It'll bring up Todd Frazier. We could hit and run with Frazier, but he's got some good power, so I don't want to take the... No, it's 2 outs, so we're not going to hit and run with 2 outs anyway. Never mind. My bad. 2 outs, dummy. You're not going to hit and run with 2 outs. Here's Porcello, 3-10 for Frazier. And again, that would be a ballpark home run on a 1-18. But as it is, it's a home run chance 1-18. So 1-18, and that's why you don't hit and run. 1-18, we don't have to worry about the ballpark effects at all. It's a 1-18, and Frazier will hit a 2-run homer. And he does. So Todd Frazier, the Todd father, puts the Reds on the board with a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the bottom of the 6th. Reds lead it 2-0. And Porcello put one where he didn't want it. A 2-out big blast by the Todd father. And in the 15 season, he did hit 35 home runs, so nothing strange there. Here's Jay Bruce. He's reached twice, walked and singled. 4-8, and that's a single to center. So Porcello now is fatigued because he's given up 3 hits this inning, so he is now fatigued. The question is, do you go to the bullpen or do you keep him in there? Red Sox do have bullpen activity, and in their bullpen, they have 2 lefties and 4 righties. So the people to choose from, they have Alexi Ogando, Ed Mujica, Junichi Tazawa, 2 lefties, Craig Breslow and Robbie Ross, and the closer, Koji Urahara. Now, with the Reds lineup, they have a couple of righties coming up. So righty in the bullpen loosening for the Red Sox is going to be Ed Mujica. Edward Mujica is loosening in the Red Sox bullpen in case they want to think about making a change. But Red Sox, John Farrell, going to stick with Porcello even though he is tired. So now the dots will come into play. And runner at first is Jay Bruce. C stealer, but he will be held, but he's not going to try it with that -3 on Leone. So Bird's going to swing away. 5-8, and that is a strikeout, but it's tired, so that's a single 2 stars. So there's where that tired fatigue comes into play. Took a chance, but that's going to be it for Porcello after giving up that single. He will be exiting the ball game. So Rick Porcello ends up going 5 2/3, and he ends up facing, let's see here, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23 batters. And that'll bring up Ed Mujica out of the bullpen. Fresh arm for the Red Sox, Ed Mujica. And on the 2015 season, Mujica was 3-5 with a 4.75 ERA and 1 save. Since they're down 2-0, I decided to bring him in instead of one of their better relievers, because you usually would save those for when you have the lead. So Marlon Byrd benefits from the fact that Porcello was tired, gets that fatigue base hit, and now here's Mesoraco. Reds a chance to really blow it open here. Byrd at first base, E-Stealer not being held. Runners at the corners, 2 down, 2-0 Reds here in the 6th. Mesoraco to Mujica, or Mujica to Mesoraco, I should say. 3-6, that's a 1-4 double. 5-20, he just hits a long fly to Bradley. That's a 20, so Jackie Bradley hauls it in at the track, and that's going to end the inning. But it's a profitable one for the Reds. They pick up 2 runs on the 2-run homer by Mr. Joey Votto, and at the end of 6, it is 2-0 Cincinnati. And the top of the 7th we go, and Johnny Cueto, this will be his fatigue inning to worry about. It'll be Jackie Bradley, Leone, and then a pinch hitter for Mujica. I did not do the double switch, didn't even think about it actually. Probably should have, but I didn't. So we'll have a pinch hitter for the Red Sox coming up, and let's look at the Red Sox bench and see who they have available to pinch hit. They do have Two lefties off the bench. They have Travis Shaw and Brock Holt. One switch hitter, Daniel Nava. And three right-handers, Shane Victorino, Mike Napoli, and backup catcher Ryan Hannigan. And if you noticed on the card for Victorino, he's listed with the Angels, and Daniel Nava is listed with Tampa Bay. That's because they started the season with Boston and was traded later on. So that's why they're with Boston to start the season. Right now, though, Jackie Bradley, he's up there. He's 1 for 2 with a double, trying to get something started. 1-7, that's a walk. That's a good way to get something started. You got to have base runners. And Jackie Bradley draws the leadoff walk. He's a C stealer, but down 2-0. I don't think you want to run yourself out of any innings. So they will have Leone up there to swing away. 2-8 for Leone, and he's going to walk. So all of a sudden, Cueto can't find the strike zone. 2 walks in a row. Puts 2 on with nobody out. And we'll get a pinch hitter now for Mujica. And it will be the left-handed hitting Travis Shaw. So Travis Shaw will pick up a bat and hit for Mujica here in the top of the 7th. Mujica only faced 1 batter. Got him out. So it is going to be the Reds bullpen now getting into action with Cueto almost being tired. Let's look at their bullpen they have available. They have right-handers Jumbo Diaz, Brooke Badenhop, and J.J. Hoover. 3 right-handers. They got 3 lefties. They have Tony Cingrani, Manny Parra, and their closer, Aroldis Chapman. So let's see who the Reds want to bring up from their bullpen to get loose. They're going to a right-hander, and they're going to J.J. Hoover. So J.J. Hoover is loosening in the bullpen. Right now they're sticking with Cueto. But Travis Shaw is up as a pinch hitter. Chance to do some damage here with 2 on and nobody out. They could have brought in somebody that was a better bunter and maybe tried to bunt the guys over, but realistically, all their bunters on the bench were either C or worse. So, and it would have been Deeds with the corners in. So we're going to go ahead and let Shaw see what he can do against Cueto. 4-4. 4-4 is a ground ball, third base X. Third baseman is Frazier. He's a 2. 2 and a 9. That might go to his error check. Check the third baseman. A 2 and a 9, and it does. Third baseman 6-14 goes to an error check. And we look at the error numbers on Frazier. He's an E20. So let's see what happens here with an E20. We get a 3. So third baseman, E20, and a 3 is a 1 base error. So it's a boot there by Todd Frazier. He boots it, and the bases are now loaded with nobody out. So how do you like that? E5, first error of the game. Can't count that one against Cueto. That wasn't his fault. So he's still not tired. Mookie Betts, the leadoff man, is up. The infield is back. They need outs. They're playing for a double play. Bases loaded, nobody out. Here's Mookie Betts against Cueto. Infield back. 5-8. That's a strikeout and a big one by Cueto. He needed it. Gets the big K on Mookie Betts. And now a double play gets him out of the inning. And they're going to have to face the pesky Dustin Pedroia. Infield still back looking for the double play if they can get it. Pedroia, 1 for 3. Cueto hanging in there as best he can. 4-4. That's a ground ball third base X again. Boy, right back to Todd Frazier again. He is a 2. And we roll a 20. That could be a double play. A 2 and a 20 for a third baseman is a ground ball B, not A. How about that? It's a ground ball B. So it's only going to be a fielder's choice, so the run will score. And runner on first out at second. So it's going to go as a 5-4 fielder's choice to retire the pinch hitter Shaw. But the run will score as Bradley comes across the plate. It is unearned, unfortunately for the Reds. Leone will go to third, and Pedroia is safe on the fielder's choice. So runners are at first and third now with 2 down. 2-1 game now here in the top of the 7th for Xander Bogaerts. Do they stick with Cueto one more time? He's your ace. I think you got to kind of stick with him as best you can. Pedroia not being held as a D stealer. Bogarts 6-7. That's a ground ball second base X. That's Phillips. Brandon Phillips is a 1. And that's an 11, so I think it's going to his error rating. Second baseman, 1. Yep, and 8 through 12 is the error rating. Error rating on Phillips, he is an E8. E8 for Phillips. And that's an 11. E8 second baseman, an E8 and 11 is a ground ball A, so it's a good play by Phillips. I forgot to make the second out here earlier, didn't I? On the fielder's choice, I forgot to change it to an out. Now this one's the final out. All right, so we go to the 7th inning stretch. I was 1 behind on my outs. I'm still work in progress trying to get used to this thing. But Phillips makes the play to end the inning. Red Sox get 1, but that's all they get. 7th inning stretch time. It is Cincinnati 2 and Boston 1. And let's go to the bullpen for the Red Sox as they pinch hit from Mojica. So we need a new pitcher for the Red Sox. And it will be, they will go to Junichi Tazawa. And I believe Cueto's probably done for the day. Junichi Tazawa is your new pitcher for the Red Sox. He will be on and try to keep things right where they are and keep the Red Sox in the ball game. He'll be facing Zach Cozart to lead off. So Tazawa in the 2015 season was 2-7, 4.14 ERA, and 3 saves. Oftentimes used as a setup man, but in this case, he's just trying to hold the fort. 2-1 Reds, bottom of the 7th. Cozart is your leadoff man, followed by the pitcher Cueto, but Cueto is being called back because that's going to be it for Cueto. They're going to bring in a pinch hitter. And we'll look at the Reds pinch hitting people they have available. They have 1 lefty, Skip Schumacher, a couple of switch hitters and their catchers, Tucker Barnhart and Brian Pena, and 2 right-handers, actually 3 right-handers, Ivan DeJesus, Jason Bourgeois, and Eugenio Suarez. So those are all the pinch hitters that are available for the Reds. As Cueto's day is done, he gave him 7 solid. Can't really argue that. And he ended up facing 30 batters. So that's certainly a full night's work. Zach Cozart will lead things off against Tazawa. 2-1 Reds, bottom of the 7th. We get a 6-5 against a right-hander. That's a ground ball to shortstop X. That is Bogarts. Bogarts is a 2. And that is a 6. A 2 and a 6 is good enough to fit, and a 2 and a 6 is a ground ball A. So 1 away. Nice play there by Mr. Bogarts. 1 down. Actually, I was looking at second base. 2-6 was still a ground ball A, so still good. Yeah, let's look at the wrong place. All right, so now we need a pinch hitter for the Reds because of the pitcher spot coming up. And with Tazawa up there, they're going to go to their left-hander, Skip Schumacher. He will be on to pinch hit for the Reds. Skip Schumacher will pinch hit. See what he can do. On the 2015 season, he was a .242 hitter, 1 home run and 21 driven in. So Schumacher is up with 1 out and the base is empty here in the bottom of the 7th. 2-2. That's a fly to center, put away out there by Mr. Betts. And there's Mr. Mookie, you bets. That's 2 down. So failed pinch hitting by Schumacher, and now that brings up the slick Billy Hamilton. 6-5, switch hitter batting left, 6-5. Ground ball shortstop X. We're back to Mr. Bogarts, and he is a 2 again, 2E12, but a 2 is what we're looking for. 2 and a 1, and that's going to be a single 1-star. 2 and a 1 is a single 1-star. Billy Hamilton gets a 2-out single. You know he's looking to run. Held or not, he's looking to run. He's a AA stealer. Leone, again, is a -3 arm. Double-A stealer. Being held, you lose 2, and then the -3 arm from Leone is a -5. But he starts out with a 17. So the -5 makes it a 12. So 1 to 12, and Billy Hamilton will steal it. At 20, he gets thrown out. So how about that? Leone says, not so fast, my friend. Caught stealing to end the inning. Caught stealing to end the inning. He goes 2 to 4 as Pedroia places the tag right on him. And that's going to do it for the Reds. They can't expand the lead. We go to the 8th. It's 2 to 1 Cincinnati. And new pitcher for the Reds. Let's look at their bullpen. We already looked at their bullpen. Let's see who they're going to bring in. Ortiz is the leadoff man. So they're going to go to a lefty out of the pen. And they're going to go to their left-hander, Manny Parra. Manny Parra, 1-2 with a 3.90 ERA. So Manny Parra will be on to pitch for the Reds. And he'll try to bridge the gap to get to Aroldis Chapman if possible. So Ortiz, you're not going to pinch it for Ortiz. I don't care lefty or righty. He's up there to hit. So here is Ortiz. Lefty on lefty, 2-6. That's a home run. How about that? Ortiz says, take that. Bring in the lefty all you want. It's gone. And we are tied. And all of a sudden, Johnny Cueto's win just dissipated. It is 2 to 2. Ortiz greets Parra with a dinger. We are tied at 2 here in the top of the 8th. And here's Hanley Ramirez, a whole new ball game. Parra to Ramirez, 1-6. That's a ground ball to third. Handled over there by the Todd father, 1 away. Brings up the Panda, Pablo Sandoval, talking about third baseman. It is Sandoval. Against Parra, 2-5. Struck him out. Facing the lefty, struck him out. 2 down for Jackie Bradley Jr. Lefty on lefty, 1-5, and struck him out as well. So Parra, after the home run, he settles in and gets everybody else out, but damage done. We are tied at 2 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. And now what do the Red Sox want to do? Do they want to go to somebody else in their bullpen? They very well might. Let's see, the Reds have Phillips, Votto, and Frazier. So let's see how they want to handle this. Tough choices here. They do have lefty. They do have lefty Robbie Ross ready. And they also have, you know what, they're going to stick with Tazawa for 1 batter. Let him face Brandon Phillips, a righty. And then when Joey Votto is coming up, Robbie Ross will be coming in to face Votto. So right now, Phillips facing Tazawa, 4-10. And again, just in advance, it's a fly to left, and that's it. And that's going to be it for Tazawa. His day is done, or his night is done. He did his job, kept the score close. And now they turn to the left-hander, Robbie Ross. Ross 0-2, 3.86 ERA and 6 saves for the Red Sox. And he'll be facing Joey Votto, lefty on lefty, here in the bottom of the 8th, tied at 2. So Ross is your pitcher. Tazawa ends up going an inning in the 3rd, facing 4 batters. Faced the minimum because of the caught stealing. So now, and Parra pitched 1 inning, faced 4 batters. All right, so here's Votto against Ross, lefty on lefty, 3-7. And that's a walk. So Joey Votto, not worried about the lefty. He draws the walk, 1-out walk to Votto. He's a B stealer, but again, you got that -3 from Leone just hanging over your head. So they're going to keep him there for the Todd father. Todd Frazier had that big home run last time up. Red Sox do have right-handed action in their bullpen. If they choose to go that route, they could go to a right-hander, Alexi Agondo. But you don't want to wear your bullpen out in the first game either. So, although they do have an off day after this. The way I did the schedule is this: there are 2 games on today's date, which I believe is April 13th when I started. And then they have an off day. The other 4 teams, or the other 6 teams, don't play until tomorrow. So they technically do have an off day, so I guess we could go through the bullpen pretty quickly if they wanted to. I'd like to give Ross a little bit more of a chance, though, I think. So they're going to let him pitch to Frazier. 2-4. That's a ground ball. Pitcher A. It was a smart move. 1-6-3 double play. Actually, 1-4-3 double play with the righty on at the bat. So it's a 1-4-3 double play. And 2 quick outs. I thought I had 1 out on here. I don't know why. Oh, because it was that ends the inning. That's right. Because when it came in between, it kind of threw me off. All right, so that's going to do it for the Reds. They come up empty in the 8th. We go to the 9th. Tied at 2. And now with the Reds, there's no longer a save situation, so they will turn to their closer, Aroldis Chapman, because they do have the off day tomorrow, and there's no save situation any longer, so you might as well bring in the best you got. Aroldis Chapman, 4-4, 1.63 ERA for Aroldis Chapman. He will be facing Leon, a pinch hitter, which Mike Napoli has already picked up a bat and will hit. So Napoli will hit for the pitcher, Ross. So Ross pitched 2/3 of an inning facing 2 batters, and he's done. So Sandy Leon will lead things off here in the top of the 9th against Mr. Chapman. And then Napoli is on deck waiting his turn to bat. Sandy Leon, a switch hitter, will stay in the game to hit. Leon 0 for 2 with a walk in the game. 3-7 against a lefty. That's a ground ball to short. And that's 1 away. Leon is retired. And now that brings up Mike Napoli, the pinch hitter. Napoli later went on to Texas, but started the season with Boston. He is a .224 hitter, 18 home runs. So obviously a chance to do the long ball with 1 out and score tie, top of the 9th. 1-5. Nope, he's going to strike out. So Chapman with the whiff, 2 down. Flip the order back to Mookie Betts. So Mookie Betts is up, and he is 0 for 4, struck out twice, so it's time for Mookie Betts to do something here against Chapman. 3-4, and that's going to be a straight out single. In Super Advanced, we go to split, but in Advanced, it's a straight single. So Mookie Betts gets his first base hit of the young season. 2-out single, and he is an A stealer. So as an A stealer, starts out with a 15, being held, it makes him a 13, 0 arm from the catcher. So it's 1-13, he's going to try to steal it. And he does. It's a possible throwing error on Mesoraco. His T rating is a 4. That's a 17, so it's not going to be a throwing error, but it will be a stolen base for Mookie Betts. And he is in scoring position with 2 outs, which is big. With speed of Mookie Betts, he will be held on, but most likely would score on a hit. But it's going to be Pedroia against Chapman. 3-9. Strikeout plus injury. Wow, we're going to have our first injury chance of the game. Dustin Pedroia will strike out to end the inning, but now we need to check on the injury for the second baseman, Dustin Pedroia. So we go to our injury factor. Injury factor. And let's see what we're going to have. I'm going to use, I know Earl was using the rest rolls and stuff in the Super Advanced score sheet or sheet. So I guess if I'm going to use that for rest, I might as well use that for injury as well. So I'm going to use the one that's in the here. So I guess that's my only thing for injuries. Or should I use, you know what? I'm going to use, we're doing advanced, so I'm going to use the advanced injury chart. So I'm going to roll 1d20 and see what happens. That's a 5. 5 says batters injured for 1 game only. And since we're doing 1/3 of a season, we cut everything by a third. So that means he's going to miss a third of a game. Well, since we're in the 9th, he's going to go ahead and leave the game, but he will be eligible in the next game. But he has to come out for this game. So we need a new second baseman for the Red Sox, and it'll be Brock Holt. He will take over at second base for Pedroia. So Brock Holt is the new second baseman here in the 9th inning. So we go to the bottom of the 9th, tied at 2. And for the Red Sox, let's see what they want to do here. Ross, his day was done because he got pinch hit for, so we need a new pitcher for the Red Sox. For the Reds, in the bottom of the 9th, they will have Jay Bruce start things off. So the Red Sox are going to their other left-hander, Craig Breslow. They want to try to keep Uehara in there in case they get a save situation. Breslow 0-4, 4.15 ERA, and a save. He did have 2 starts as well. So Craig Breslow, the 5th pitcher used by the Red Sox. But again, they do have an off day tomorrow. First injury of the new season, and it's Pedroia, but he's only going to miss the rest of this game, nothing else, fortunately for the Red Sox. So here's Jay Bruce. He has reached base every time. He's walked and singled twice. 4-6, and he's going to pop out to second. Breslow gets him this time. 1 away. Breslow gets the job done against the lefty there. Now he's got to face a right-hander, Marlon Byrd. Byrd, 1 for 3, a single and 2 strikeouts. 112 for Marlon Byrd against the lefty. That's a single. There's a clutch symbol there, but that's only for super advanced. In advanced, that's a straight-out single. So Marlon Byrd with a single. He's an E-stealer, so he will not be held. He's certainly not going to try to run. That'll bring up the catcher, Mesoraco, with the runner at first and 1 out. Did they use a pinch runner for Byrd? I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to leave him in there. Mesoraco, Breslow to Mesoraco. 6-7 against a right-hander. That's trouble. 1-10 is a double. 11-20 is a single, but they're both 2 stars, so it will not end the game either way. But what is it? It is a 9, so it's a double 2 stars. That's going to put runners at second and third with 1 out here in the bottom of the 9th. Infield's going to have to come in for the Red Sox. They have no choice. Zach Cozart is the batter. They could pinch hit. In fact, I'm sorry, they could intentionally walk Cozart, which is what they will do, because what that's going to do now is that's going to bring up Aroldis Chapman, and they're going to have to pinch hit for Chapman. So that's going to limit Chapman to just 1 inning of pitching. So Aroldis Chapman will go 1 inning, face 4 batters, and that's it. But he's going to leave for a pinch hitter. That's because of the pitcher batting 8th, remember. So that could have might come back to bite him right there. So let's look at the bench for the Reds, See what they got left to hit against the lefty Breslow. They will bring in the right-hander Eugenio Suarez, 280, 13 home runs. So he's got a chance to be the hero and walk this thing off. Eugenio Suarez to pinch hit against Breslow. Bases loaded, 1 out. Infield is playing in. They really don't want to take a chance of trying to get a double play. They have to play the infield in. The pitch is a 1-7. Suarez, ground ball to second with an A, with a plus. The infield is in. It's going to get through for a base hit, and your ball game is over. The ball game is over. They took a chance playing the infield in, but that's going to do it. Ball game is over. The Reds walk it off. Here in the inaugural game of the Demolition League, the Red Sox fall to the Reds 3-2. Winning pitcher was Aroldis Chapman. He is 1-0. Losing pitcher was Craig Breslow. He is 0-1. And of course, no save of any kind. Let's check the hits for both teams, and I'll tabulate the final score sheet. A little bit messy because I'm not used to doing it this way, but we'll see how it goes. For the Red Sox, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I got them for 8 hits. For the Reds, I've got them for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 hits. I won't worry about left on base just yet. So that's what I've got unofficially on the score sheet. For the Reds, 3 runs, 9 hits, and 1 error. For the Red Sox, 2 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. Chapman the winner, Breslow the loser, and Mr. Walkoff, Eugenio Suarez, with the pinch hit single, walks it off. His 2-7 through the drawn-in infield with the infield in. That plus created the End of the ball game. Had they been playing double play depth, they would have turned the double play and would have gone to extra innings, but they could have very easily hit a ground ball B, and then people would be questioning why the infield wasn't in. So kind of darn if you do and darn if you don't. But anyway, that's going to put a wrap here on game 1. Like I said, I don't know how many of these I'm going to do online. I'm going to do a lot of these offline because it's just something I like to do, and I can do it a lot faster playing offline. So again, the schedule that's out. So Boston, Cincinnati now have 2 games remaining. The other game from this game day is San Francisco at Cleveland. So the state of Ohio gets the 2 home games for opening day. They are off the next day. And then the other 3 teams, New York will be at Seattle, Philadelphia at Tampa Bay, and Houston at Arizona will be tomorrow for their opening days. And then after that, everybody's back on schedule. So kind of an exciting game. It kind of went kind of long because, like I said, this is a new setup for me, and I had to do some intros and everything else. So don't know how it's going to go. I encourage you guys to check out Tenacious Earls. If you haven't watched those TBL videos, they're very, very good, both TBL 1 and 2. He didn't have a whole lot of videos from TBL 1. Most of those that I could find were like the last 15 or 20 videos of his replay, whereas on the tabletop channel is TBL 2.0, and they're almost all the video, or quite a few videos are on there for that. So he's the brainchild of this kind of setup, and so I definitely wanted to thank him for that. I wouldn't have thought to do something like this, but I liked it, and so I, kind of want to follow it. I think it'll be fun. At least I hope it'll be fun. We'll find out one way or the other. But that's going to do it from here. Strat-O-Matic. Got to get back to Strat-O-Matic. I'll eventually do something with payoff pitch later, but right now I'm in the Strat-O-Matic mode, and that's where I'm going to stay, at least for now. So, greetings, or so long from Great American Ballpark, where the final score is Cincinnati 3, Boston 2, as Cincinnati walks it off in the bottom of the 9th. Until next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.